Om Namo Venkatesaya. Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavathanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashanteye Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanideye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. Tismarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchate Namastasmi Vishnave Prabha Vishnave Lakshmi Nata Samarambam Nate Amana Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Namo Venkatesaya. My pranams everybody. So we completed chapter 8 yesterday, Achara Brahma Yogam. Let's just recapitulate from the beginning briefly. So the first chapter was Arjuna's Vishada Yoga, the depression. Arjuna initially thought that he will, complete the battle in a single day. Then he asked Krishna to take the battle in between the warring factions. Krishna took him and placed him before the two warring factions. And he looked at his own kith and kin on both sides of the battlefield. He completely broke down, saying that Krishna, I can't fight this battle because I'll be killing my kith and kin, and the entire clan will get wiped off, and there won't be people to give offering this pindas and then this tirtha to all my pitras, and therefore I'll go into the hell. And even if they want to fight with me, and then I'm going to be Nirayadapani, that means I don't want to touch the weapons, and they want to kill me Nirayadapani also, it's fine, I will take it as it is. Or I just want to run away from this battlefield and start meditating in the forest. So that was the first chapter, Vishada Yoga. Then Bhagavan, then the second chapter again, initially Krishna whips him, saying that you're such a great valorous person, then what kind of this cowardness that you got in you. So, but in spite of that, Arjuna was not moved. And then finally he surrenders himself, Prapannoham Shishyasteham. That means I have become your disciple, I have surrendered to you. So you tell me what, I'm completely confused, tell me what my dharma is. Then Bhagavan takes over from Sloka 11 of chapter 2, that is Sankhya Yogam. So Bhagavan initially talks about the Atma Vidya, the Jivatma Vidya, where he says that the Atma is imperishable, the body is bound to undergo a change, and it's going to perish at a point of time. Even if you don't kill your this kith and kin now, at some point of time they got to leave this body. But then Atma is never. There was no time when this Yudhishthira, when this Duryodhana or Bhishma are not there. There is no time when they won't be there. So they are going to be there permanent. That is their Jivatma, but their body is going to undergo a change. And since you are doing it for the right cause, I think you should fight this battle out. Then he went on to talk a little about the Karma Yoga. Karmanyevadikaraste Mahapaleshu Kadachana Ma Karma Pala Heturbo Mate Sangosta Karmani, the famous sloka of chapter 2. He says, Arjuna, you have no control over your control only on the actions. Whether to fight the battle or not is within your control, but then you don't have control over the results of the action. Whether you will gain victorious or you won't be victorious, not within your hand control. For that sake, don't leave away from your actions. Your action is to fight, and therefore that is what you should do. And then do it as then he's talked about the Sthita Prajna, that is the people who have followed this path of this Nishkamya Karma, and then got united with the Jivatma. What will be the kind of them? They will never be, they will always remain in the Atmic consciousness and will always be blissful and happy, and they won't be bothered about what is happening to their body. So that's how we concluded the chapter 2. Then chapter 3 begins with Arjuna's famous question, saying that initially you glorified the action, then subsequently talk about jnana, which is the path I should follow. I'm not clear on that. Krishna says there are two paths. One is then Sankhya Yogam and then Jnana Yogam. That's Karma Yogam. But for you, Karma Yogam is the one which you should follow. Then it glorifies the entire Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is performing the one's ordained duties as an offering or for the welfare of the society, or as an offering to the Bhagavan without expecting any return. The fruits of the action may accrue to him, but then he's not doing it for the fruits of the action. That is what the Karma Yoga, that is Nishkamya Karma. So he talked about several other people who follow the path of even the people like Janaka, even who are ruling the kingdom, they were all following this path of Karma Yoga because they wanted to set an example to the whole society. Krishna also said, Arjuna, I don't have anything to gain from this performance of these various actions. Still, I perform these actions because as an as an example, because later on the society, the people will say that no, Krishna even did not perform these various karmas, and why should I do that? So for that sake, they perform all this, as an example to all those people, an example to the posterity. So that's how we talked about the karma yoga. Then comes the karma jnana sannyasa yoga, where the knowledge aspect of this karma was being talked of. Karma is inert and jadam, but then the knowledge is the fact that I'm not the doer. So I'm only an instrument in the hands of the Lord, and He is performing through me. So that is the knowledge aspect of this karma yoga. That is what is being talked of in the 4th chapter, karma jnana sannyas yoga. Bhagavan talked about several types of yajnas, dravya yajna, then prana, the control of the prana, control of the senses. Then also talked about jnana yajna. Then finally said among all the dravya yajnas, jnana yajna is the best. That's what he concluded on the chapter 4. Then he also talked about know this knowledge tadviti pranipatena pariprasnena sevya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. That means you gain this knowledge by surrendering to your guru, and then they will be able to teach you about this the jnana aspect of this karma, this action. So then that's how the chapter 4 concluded. Then again in chapter 5, again Arjuna repeats the same question. So again this what should I do? You also, in the chapter 4 also, you talked about the knowledge aspect, so I am getting confused. So tell me, which is the path I should follow? He said, the karma yoga is the path that you should follow. The karma and jnana are on the same path. The path is the same. Some portion is called as karma yoga, and later portion is called as jnana yoga. That's what Bhagavan says in beginning of the chapter 5. Then he says, he talked about how the karma yoga is to be performed. All these things, surrendering all the actions in the for the welfare of the society, as well as for the as a service to as an offering to the Bhagavan as such. That's what karma sannyasa yoga concluded. Then came to the chapter 6, which is the dhyana yoga, or the that is control of the mind as such. Atma samyagya yoga or dhyana yoga. So the beginning chapter, Bhagavan says the karma yoga and the jnana yoga are the same, because in both the cases the fruits of the action are being surrendered. So Bhagavan starts with the sloka saying that anashrita karma palam karyam karma karoti hai sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragni na chakri. So sannyasi and karma yogi are all the same, because they are all doing the actions without any leaning to the fruits of the action. That's what Bhagavan said. So both sannyasa, the karma yoga and sannyasi yoga are equal. That's what Bhagavan said. Then later on, in the initial stages, you will have to perform the actions like, riding this horse. So initially, you will have to keep one foot on the footrest and keep running up with the second foot. Then once you establish the balance, you put the other foot onto that. So thereafter, the karma itself will leave you. You don't have to leave the karma will leave you. So you'll have till system, you'll have to perform these various karmas. Then Bhagavan talked in detail about how to perform the meditation. So he said you must sit on a clean place, quiet place. Then you put the seating arrangements like putting the kusa grass on that on the top of that this deer skin. Then that white cloth, it should be neither too high or not too low. Then you must firmly establish your seat. Then keep your this back of this spinal cord, the back of your neck and the head in a straight line. Then close your eyes. Then meditate upon the tip of your nose. So all those things, Bhagavan gave the details of that. And then the person who performs this meditation over a period of time is able to ultimately reach my abode. That's what Bhagavan said. Then Arjuna asked this question, saying that Krishna, is whatever you said is very easily said, but I think in practice it's very difficult. Like controlling the mind is like controlling the this hurricane, or the very fierce wind. Bhagavan said, yeah, asamsayam samagram mam mano durgraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyana chagrihyate. That's what Bhagavan said in sloka 35 of chapter 6. He said, yes, Arjuna, what you say is true. It is difficult to control the mind because my mind is always wavering. But then through abhyasena, that means through practice only. So whatever you do, you can do through practice. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagya. That means you should have the willingness or the will to complete this exercise. If you have that firmness towards the goal, as well as regular practice, you will be able to control the mind. Then Arjuna asked the second question, Krishna, supposing a person practices this dhyana yoga, he is not ultimately reach the goal or reaching the abode of Bhagavan. At the same time, because of his prarabdha karma or because of his waywardness of the mind, he gets completely drifted away from this dhyana yoga, or his body perishes. What happens that he has lost, he has lost the enjoyments of this world, and also he has not reached this final abode. So Bhagavan says that person goes to various punya lokas, which are being which are normally attained by people who perform the various punya karmas. He stays for a long period of time and then comes back into this world. Suchinam Srimatam Gehim Yoga Brashto Vijayat. That means he gets birth into into a family which is already in the practice of the yoga, so it becomes conducive for him to continue. He starts from the place where he left in the earlier. So that means all the exercises, Name Bhakta Pranasya, that means my Bhakta, that is all the good deeds that are being done never goes as waste. That's why Bhagavan is called as Amogaha. Moga means waste, Amogaha. So none of the acts done towards the Bhagavan goes as waste, and therefore he doesn't have to start from the beginning. He starts from the place where he left and continues this practice with much more vigor and ultimately reaches my abode. That's what Bhagavan said in chapter 6. Then chapter 7, Bhagavan said, I'm going to talk to you about this Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So initially he talks about this, Prakriti, the lower Prakriti. And then he said it is very difficult, this knowledge is very difficult for people to understand because of the Maya. So Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Sittaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Veti Tattvata. That means he said it's very difficult for a person. Only one among 1,000 will definitely be inclined towards the path of spiritual progress, and even among that, only very few will know my the true nature as such. That's why I'm going to talk to you about my true nature as well as the practical aspects of Jnana Vijnana. That's what the chapter 7 is. Then he's talked about this Prakriti, lower Prakriti, Vinna Prakriti Rashchada, that is Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kammano Buddhi Revacha Hamkara Itiyame Brahna Prakriti Ashtadi Panchabhutas Mano Buddhi Hamkaram are my lower natures. Apareya Mitiswanyam Prakritim Vidhi Me Param Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho Yedam Dadyate Jagat. That means beyond this lower Prakriti is my higher Prakriti, which is the Jiva Bhutas. That means the Jivatmas, they are the higher Prakritis. Through them only this world is sustained, because the living principle only sustains this world, and therefore that's what Bhagavan said. All these things are under my control, and I am from me only all the creation happens, and ultimately they also get into my this pralaya. After the pralaya, they also get into me. That's what he said. Then he talked about the greatness of him. He said, Matta parataram naniti kinchidasna. That means there's nothing greater than me. I am the ultimate greatest person in this universe. Then everything is bound around me. That means Mai sarvam idam protam sute manigana. Like that, the god, that is what you call this necklace made up of gems. There is a thread which runs through, which is the common, which is uniting all these things. I am the thread. Sutre Maniganava. So that means I am the thread which is uniting all these different types of gems. That means different types of the entities in this world are getting united because of me. That's what Bhagavan said. That's what he talked about his nature. Then he also said, I am the greatest in Balam Balavatampi Kamaraga. That means he said, I am the strength of the strength. Then I am the water, I am this taste in the water, Rasoham Apsukonte, all those things he said. So whatever he said is, I am the essence of everything in this. That's what he was saying. That is what is the Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Then he talked about this Maya. So then he said, people don't know about me because of the Maya. Then he said, Daivi Kesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tandi. He gave a warning to all the people saying that Devi Hi Hesha Mama Maya Durate. It's my Maya. It is very, very difficult for people to cross over. He gave a solution in the second line also. Mameva Ye Prapadyate. The person who has surrendered to me completely, he is the only person who can ultimately reach me. That's what he says. Then he talked about the various types of Asuram Bhavamas. That means even among the people who have got this Asura Bhava, they don't know my true nature, and they also fall into this rut of this Samsara Chakra and Maya. Then he talked about 4 types of devotees. Chaturvida Bhajantemam Jana Sukrutinojan Artho Jignasa Arthati Jnani Chapradasha. The Artha, the person who is in distress. Then he Arthati, who wants my wealth. Jnani, who is Jignas, who wants to know more and more knowledge. Jnani was ultimately realized myself, and therefore he says Jnani to Atma Mame. That means he is among all the 4 devotees. All are of course Udarat Sarve. All these are my devotees, but then Jnani is the greatest person because he is like the core of my heart. Just as we say Bhagavan is the core of us, Bhagavan says Jnani is my core. That is what to the greatest extent Bhagavan talks about this Jnanis. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadya Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabh. That means that person, he looks at everything as Vasudeva. Because why is he looking at everything as Vasudeva? Because he says everything is Bhagavan only. Even the Prakriti itself came from Bhagavan, and therefore he is also Bhagavan. And the Bhagavan is the person who is like, the earliest Bhagavan says, Sutre Maniga. He's seeing the Sutra. That means which is the unifying factor in all of us is the Bhagavan. He is residing in all of us, and therefore he is seeing them, and therefore he sees everything as Vasudeva. In fact, that is what is a repetition of what Bhagavan said in chapter 5. Vidya Vanaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunichaiva Supakecha Panditaha Samadarshina. So Pandita Samadarshina, that means people see everything. Bhagavan says as Bhagavan, even the dog or the dog eater or the Brahmana or the cow or everything, they see as equal. Similarly, Bhagavan says here, Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudalam. Such kind of a person is very, very difficult for me to get, and is my very, very core. That's what Bhagavan says. Then again, people who worship different types of devotees, they also follow the niyamas and get whatever the fruits want from the devotees. But please understand that their faith also, I only make it firm, and only ultimately I'm only dispensing the fruits of the action through these deities. That's what Bhagavan says. So ultimately, Bhagavan says, I am the ultimate. So like was this Vakashat Patitam Toyam Yada Gacchati Sakaram Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Kesavam Prati Gacchati. Means all the namaskaras done to the various devatas ultimately reach me. That's what Bhagavan says. Then Bhagavan also says Prayana Kalepi Mam. That means at the time of leaving this body also, people who think about me, and therefore they will ultimately reach me about. Then he is talking about three technical terms: Adidevam, Adibhutam, Adidevam, and Adhyatmikam. That's what he used this for three terms. And then in the chapter 8, Arjuna asked this question, what are these three things? And we'll continue the recapitulation of chapter 8 tomorrow. Om Namo Venkatesaya, Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanastu, Krishna 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 Krishna.